Hello, fellow figure skating fans and friends. I'm so excited to do a video today with my friend Na. We will be recapping the 2019 Grand Prix final, which happened in Italy. Na, how are you feeling about it?
It was an exciting event, to say the least. It was everything that I wanted from a competition. Personally, my favorite events of the year are always a tie between Russian nationals and the Grand Prix final, just because I always love to see surprises. I love to see great skating, and it was not disappointing this year at all.
Yeah, I used to think that US Nationals was the most dramatic competition of the year. I actually think it's the Grand Prix final now.
I agree. US Nationals is like, this is not to take away from the drama. But today was just, and this whole weekend has just been surprise after surprise.
Yeah, and I'm excited to break it all down with you. Now, before we get started, I did want to introduce you to my viewers. So Na and I are friends on Twitter for maybe about a year, I would say. And
Yes.
I just say that Na is a really eloquent skating fan. She's really knowledgeable about the sport. Like, I'm a casual fan. Na likes the details. She likes to understand the rules, the scoring, and I think one day you should definitely become a judge. And a personal character trait of Na that I love the most is that you're always very kind to people who express their heavy disagreement to you. And that's a trait of yours that I'm trying to obtain as well. So I'm excited for this.
You were too kind, Justin. You were one of my first figure skating fans when I joined figure skating Twitter and friends, and it was really, really nice to have someone who I'd been watching your videos for months before I came onto Twitter. Oh. And when I followed you and you followed me back immediately, I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And when I watch your videos, I'm like, okay, this guy's really nice. He can't be that nice. He can't be that friendly. This has to be. But then I was like, wow, he's really that nice.
Yeah,
he's just really that
I'm
kind.
I'm very much myself on videos versus off camera, and sometimes other skating fans don't like that I don't join in on the drama, but that's kind of who I am.
No, you're one of the kindest and most open and just most accepting fans I've met in this fandom, and I'm really, really happy to be your friend, and I'm really happy to do this video with you. It's an honor.
Oh, we're starting this video off on a high note. I love it. So we're going to go through each discipline in the order that they occurred in the competition. So that means we're starting with pairs. Now, let's break down the results. Wenjing SUI and Cong HAN of China win the competition, and then their Chinese teammates Cheng, Peng, and Yang win the silver medal. Yay, nice surprise. And then Anastasia, Mishina, and Aleksandr Galliamov win the bronze medal from Russia. Then, shall we name the rest? Aleksandra, Boikova, and Dmitrii Kozlovskii of Russia finish in fourth. Kirsten Towers and Marinero of Canada place fifth here, and then Daria, Pavliuchenko, and Denis round out the top six. So, Na, did you predict that Sui and Han would win the Grand Prix final?
Definitely. They came in here as the favorites. They've won 2 world championships. They've won 4 continents, I think 4 times. They've pretty much won everything except for a Grand Prix final title and the Olympic championship. And they finally got their Grand Prix final. They finally won. And I was just so excited for them. I was so proud of them. The short program was a little bit closer to what I expected from them coming in. The free skate was actually more the surprise of the weekend for me, because this is a team that is, I would argue, the strongest team currently competing in pairs. And no, I wasn't surprised they were on top of the podium. I was surprised with the fact it was a bit of a rough ride to get up there.
Yeah, so now I was talking about the fact that they finished second in the free skate portion.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is that that happened because Cong HAN was actually the one who kind of botched a lot of the solo jumps, which sometimes it's actually the opposite, because Wenjing SUI had an injury over the summer. So I thought it was funny how she was on her game. She was Queen Sui out on the ice, no bobby pins needed with the hair. But you know what? Even with those tiny mistakes, they just always have the best performance in the field, I find, unless they're competing against the French, who are not competing this season.
Right. No, to me, watching both of their programs, they did repeat their free skate from last season, which I thought was a brilliant idea. I think it's incredibly effective. That is one of the favorite free skates I've seen from a pair team in years. It's up there with Aleksandr and Bruno Salts, who won the Olympics. it's just so breathtaking. She is such an engaging performer. The fact that she's able to like give up all the sass and give so much face, especially when she has her hair flying across the ice, it's so. I just can't compliment this team more. I was so surprised when he was the one who was flubbing all the side-by-side jumps in the free skate because she has been injured so often over the last couple of years. I think that the last time they had a full season was probably maybe 3 years ago. So seeing her being able to land the jumps cleanly and see him pop and just, it was surprising. It was surprising, but the throw jumps were fantastic. The lifts were absolutely beautiful. The transitions they have coming in and out of every single element are effortless and difficult. They are a world-class team. The one thing I will say is that they did seem to struggle a little bit with getting some of their levels in the free skate. They struggled with this pair spins. They got the V on the spin, and I was reviewing it. They got a level 3, but they got a V because that basically means they didn't complete enough revolutions in one of their basic positions. So the 3 basic positions being a sit spin, a camel spin, upright spin, and they didn't complete enough in one of those, so they got a V on that element. I'm not sure if the V and the level 3 may have been a little generous there, so maybe cleaning up on that element is going to be needed in the future. But also, like, their final lift, they got a level 2 in the free skate as well. The lift itself was actually of pretty good quality, but they seem to be rushing. I think maybe a couple of the jump mistakes and the jump errors beforehand pushed them a little bit in the music, and they were trying to catch up and make sure they finished on time. But other than that, this is still a quality performance. It's still a quality team, and they're Grand Prix final champions. And I still think they are the favorites for Worlds. At least I'm putting them as my favorites for continents and Worlds as long as they're healthy.
Yeah, so you mentioned earlier that they haven't competed a full season in a while. The positive I see about that is that they've been relatively undefeated because they've had to withdraw from a few competitions. And I'd say my favorite element from them is actually the throw triple twist, because they're one of the few pairs that can consistently get a level 4. And that's a big deal considering their size. They're pretty petite and they're both similar in height, which makes it difficult in pair skating. The ideal dimension is for the guy to be taller, but they make it work.
Do. He especially, like, he's incredibly impressive to me because he's quite slight for a pair boy, but the way he's able to get her up in these lifts and the way that he's able to get her up in that twist, spectacular. And in the past, they actually could do a quad twist, a level 4 quad twist. And it just shows you how well matched they actually are as two skaters. And when I watch them skate, I feel like it's a team. I feel like they're one unit. It doesn't feel like two skaters who are just paired up together and who can, achieve these big ticket elements. It feels like these are two different, like, members of one well-working machine who are giving off a beautiful performance that is also technically spectacular. I think, just right now it's just focusing on making sure that they are able to deliver clean performances because when they are clean, they're unbeatable right now.
Yeah, and you can tell when you see them skate is that they've had a long partnership, over a decade. And switching over to the next team, their Chinese counterparts, that's, had some interesting storyline to it. As most of you know, a few years ago, the Chinese Federation did some pair picketing and flipping over. But here's an example of where it works because they won the free skate portion. Cheng, Peng, and Yang Jin, they're one of my personal favorite teams. They make me smile. They make me so happy when I watch them. They're kind of a hot and cold team because they don't always get the jumps down. But hey, you know what? If you have to do an intended side-by-side double Salchow to go clean, I allow it.
I completely agree. Now, this team is somewhat like their programs this season. The short program is Allegria it's like Cirque du Soleil music. I love it, and their free skate. I thought that I loved the short program, but the Cloud Atlas free skate just took my breath away. The styling is fantastic. Her dress is to die for, and this is a team that does have a slightly lower base value than others. They're only doing triple toe, double toe instead of triple toe, double toe, double toe, or Euler triple sow. And they're doing plan by plan double sows, as you said beforehand. So they are losing some points on the base value with the side by side jumps, but they really make it up in their throw jumps, which are humongous for extension on the landings. They're making it up with the lifts and the positions. They have difficult exits and entries into all of their pair elements. And this time they won the free skate here.
Yeah,
I think that really shows, like, oh, so sorry, you go.
No, you go.
No, I think that it really showed how chaotic this event was, that they were competing against Sui and Han and Boikova and Kozlovskii, and they won the free skate, but they didn't even win the technical element of the free skate. That was Mishina and Galliamov. So it was just all over the place with these different teams. But PENG and Jin, they found a layout that works for them, a layout that they can maximize the point value while still skating relatively clean. The short program was a little bit more off to them. There was a couple of mistakes with some of the draw jumps and the elements, but they really came back in the free skate, and they're two-time. I think this is they defended their silver medal from last year from the Grand Prix final. So I was so happy. I didn't expect this whatsoever. So
Me neither.
I was really happy to see the video.
They were, what was their result after the short?
I believe they were fifth. Yeah.
So to go from fifth to first to second overall, wow.
That's incredible. It's amazing, but it also just shows you that the event was a little chaotic.
Yeah, an example of that is that Cheng, PENG, and Yang Jin skated in the first group and ended up on the podium. Same with the Russian pair who won the bronze medal here, Anastasia, Mishina, and Aleksandr Galliamov. I gotta say, they're not my favorite team to watch, and that's no diss. I know when sometimes people say that, it's shade. It's not for me. I respect them. I respect that they have some nice elements, well-controlled technical elements. The landings are always usually well done. They just don't excite me, and I think that can change over time. But I'm actually really happy for them that they were able to stick it out for the bronze medal here.
I 100% agree. I know that for the short program, I believe they're skating to Je suis malade, which is a piece of music that I have mixed feelings with. I feel like a lot of times when teams take it on, they aren't able to really convey that sense of like longing and darkness and sadness that music requires. This is a bit of a younger team, a team that hasn't been, they're not really a top team in the senior circuit yet. So watching them skate together, I see them as technical specialists right now. They're good at getting those big ticket elements out, but I do think they have to work a little bit more on their performance ability. I think they have to work a little bit more on their expression and just making sure that with their programs, they're able to really connect with the audience and get us they earned this bronze medal. Yeah, for sure. And I'm really proud of them for getting it because they delivered when other people weren't able to. But I do want to see them grow a little bit more in that performance, on the performance side, just so then they're able to connect with the audience.
Yeah, I believe they're the reigning world junior champions.
Yes.
So it shows that they can compete. So now it's the next level is transitioning into a world top pair. And
definitely
they'll have no trouble with all of the domestic competition they got there in Russia.
Definitely. They're always going to have people motivating them to be better. Also, I think it's super impressive that they're going for triple sow, Euler triple sow as a pair team, going for a triple. I think that just shows how competitive it has become in the discipline. Unfortunately, it was that I believe she downgraded the second triple sow.
Yes.
But they did land it on 2 feet. There was no falls, and everything else was clean in the free skate. So this is really a good example of how just going clean, even if you're a team that won't get the highest GOE and you're not getting the highest PCS, it can get you in a podium at a Grand Prix final.
Yeah, you never know with pair skating because a lot of people focus on the jumps. The lifts are actually a big part of the tech score as well. And when you botch a lift, you could be like behind about 10 points, depending on the lift and GOE mark. So going clean as much as you can consistently will make a difference.
Agreed, 100%.
Yeah. Do you have an opinion on the Russian team who finished in 4th place here?
Boikova and Kozlovskii?
Yeah, I thought they were going to be on the podium, so I was surprised.
So like full disclosure, I'm in love with this team.
Oh.
It's one of my favorite teams of the season, so I am a little biased, so I have to kind of hold that in, but their short program to my way is just, when I saw the Russian test skates, I fell in love with this team. I remember last season they came kind of rushing onto the scene. I believe that was their senior debut last season, because I think she's 17 now and he's 19. But I saw them. She has beautiful extension on her landings. She is so flexible. She is ridiculously flexible, and he is like the ideal supportive partner.
Yes.
He knows how to kind of show her off. And these two are so earnest in their performance and in their reactions to their scores. You can tell when they're happy. You can tell when they're disappointed. They don't hide their feelings for anybody. They've always been a really technically solid team, but I feel like this season they got a pair of programs that really let them show off their true selves. Their lift positions are just so top notch. And he is one of the pair boys who, when he brings her up, he's able to usually stay so solid, and you don't see him shaking with his arms. You don't see him shaking with his legs. You don't see a struggle getting her up into the air. When she lands her, like that throw triple flip that they have in the short program, and she just keeps her leg out and just holds that landing for 20 feet. I'm just in love. Their side-by-side triple sows. Everything is just so fantastic. But this free skate for them was just not their day. There seemed to be an error on.
Yeah, I like the program for them.
Agreed. They're doing for the free skate. They're doing the James Bond inspired program, and I love her dress too in the free skate. I'm not as big a fan of the matching pink outfits they have in the short program.
I love it, actually.
You do?
I do.
Okay.
Well, it's because I like pink, but we're allowed to disagree.
I respect that. I respect that. I am someone who, like, with pink, I can only, with, like, junior girls who are skating to Romeo and Juliet, maybe. There's a few exceptions I have, but in general, I'm just not a fan of pink dresses.
So is Kirsten Moore Towers an exception? Because that's one of her favorite colors.
She's kind of like a princess, okay? I feel like she's trying to go for a princess look, and I feel like that works. But here, I just don't see, like, a Frank Sinatra program with a pink dress and a pink top. It just doesn't translate to me as matching the program. But the program itself, I love. And they did really well in the short program. They were second by fractions of a point to Sui and Han. But
yeah,
it was just, looking at it, hit the triple toe. She just had a lot of struggles with the combination jump. She singled out a toe, and she downgrowed a double toe. Their triple twist was great, and their first lift was great. They landed their first throw jump, the triple flip. But the deck spiral was only a level 2. The triple loop, she put her hand down to throw a triple loop, and their last 2 lifts were just level 2, level 3, all negative GOE. They lost over 10 points. Yeah, they lost over 10 points on the lifts. And the funny and kind of sad thing is, if they got level 4s in those lifts, they would have won the whole event. Mm-hmm. It wasn't, and I think a lot of times when I know when I watch pairs, I'm always looking for the jumps. Did they land their side-by-sides? Did they land the throw jumps? Okay, they're in the clear. But an aborted lift can easily lose a program.
You know what sometimes I think about when watching pair skating? I'll look at the results and I'll get confused because I'll be like, their side-by-side jumps were not clean. Why are they on the podium? And then you look at the protocols, it's like, oh, they got +4 GOEs on all the lifts. And the prime example I'm thinking of is my favorite American pair team at the moment, which is Jessica Callalang and Brian Johnson.
Yeah.
So, jumps for, a lot of American pairs are, but, their lifts are stellar. But yeah, back to that Russian.
They have amazing skating skills, yeah.
They're so good. Yeah. Back to the Russian pair. I'm glad you listed all the technical stuff, because the main thing I take away from them is that they just love skating. They're competitive, but not so much that it overtakes the program. They care about a genuine performance and the connection with each other, and the audience can pick up on that as well.
Agreed. And when you could, right now, they're fighting for that number 1 Russian pair spot with Yevgenia Tarasova and Vladimir Morozov, who were unfortunately not able, they didn't qualify for the Grand Prix final this season. They were first alternates. And that's a team where I would say that's their elements. Both of these teams are very classic, beautiful Russian lines, technical strengths. But with Tarasova and Morozov, I think this season I always question, are they enjoying skating at that point in time? When they go into performance, I'm always worried, like, are you having fun with this? Do you want to be skating at this moment in time? They are, elite level athletes. They are fantastic. They work so hard. It's just the impression that I'm getting when I'm watching them versus watching Kozlovskii and Boikova, and I watch them. I'm just like, they want to skate.
Yeah,
they
that's
are
interesting.
Skate, and I think that's kind of at the last event after Boikova and Kozlovskii did so well between two programs and they qualified here as the second qualifiers below Sui and Han. I thought, okay, they're definitely the Russian number one team now, but another pair team did finish above them here. Thrust and Morzov are amazing. Stobova is coming back, so Russian Nationals is going to be a really exciting event, and there's another Russian team who did qualify here as well. But
that's right, and that was an interesting impression you just shared, because I didn't think of that with Evgenia and Vladimir, because I just think that they're so upset that they've been making mistakes. But you're right, maybe it could be, the passion for competing and skating is gone a little bit.
And I think they could definitely be connected, because I think they're a team that, when they are clean, they are, would be tied with Sui and Han as the pairs, like the pair teams to be. And they're a team that should be getting 80 plus in the short and 150 plus in the free skate. But for some reason, it hasn't really been working for them this season or last season. They haven't really been able to, just hit it out of the park. And I think that they might be frustrated.
Yeah.
And it may be hard. So I'm excited to see them.
Yeah, another pair that can relate with that would be Kirsten Mortowers and Michael Marinero from Canada, who finished 5th here. I was a little bummed out, because they had the performances of their lives at NHK Trophy not too long ago. All they had to do was not put pressure on themselves and, just translate those same performances here at the final. They qualified, so that's amazing. Yeah, how do I put it this way? You could just tell that their skating has improved. They're finally starting to gel as a partnership, and they're starting to nail the technical elements. Because it seems like one season they need to connect with each other, and then one season they need to land the jumps. It seems to be coming together, but I will say the big mistake in the free skate was that Michael Marinero threw Kirsten Mortowers for the throw triple Salchow, and he ended up falling. So he threw her, stumbled, and fell.
That was just a bit painful to watch, because I haven't seen a man fall on a throw jump, I don't think, ever.
Yeah.
They really were, like, I had them in my fantasy rankings as coming third here. And I think maybe that they came into their own head and expected to make the podium. Maybe they got a bit nervous. But the short program was more than the messy. It was kind of messy. They had to fall in the triple loop. And they kind of came in here fighting. The free skate was really, really promising.
They recovered from that really well.
Yeah, everything else was clean. The only, minor error was they got a level 3 triple twist, which most people do. But they got level 4s on all of their lifts. They got level 4 on their death spiral, on their spins, which almost nobody did here as well. It was just that throw triple sal, that damn throw triple sal.
They were even rewarded with nice program component marks compared to other pairs in the free skate. So they got a 66, whereas, let's see here, the 6th place finishers were 60, and then they even beat Anastasia, Mishina, and Aleksandr Galliamov in PCS for the free skate. So they do have some redeeming qualities that the judges appreciate.
And I completely agreed with those. I think that they did deserve the high marks in presentation. I think that she looks absolutely wonderful in both programs. This is just a little personal pet peeve of mine. I don't know why they chose that cover of Love on the Brain for the short program instead of just going with the Rihanna version. I thought that was an interesting choice. And then for the free skate, they're skating, just want to make sure, Cario. Okay, I'm not as familiar with the music, but I think the presentation is quite lovely. They kind of have found a way to make something that's very aesthetically pleasing. I really love her. I really love her personality. I really just love her, like,
she's a firecracker on the ice.
Yes.
She
And
lands
another thing
those
I've
jumps.
noticed is that sometimes with the lifts, there might be a slight struggle with getting her up, but she has such a strong core. It doesn't matter if maybe there's a slight stumble or maybe his hand is just not placed in the right location, like right on her hip. She will stay up in that position. She's going to make sure she's going to get that level feature, so they get that level 4.
You know
And
what that
they
tells me? Is that she's really secure in Michael as a partner,
agreed.
and that which is great because I look at those lifts and sometimes I get worried. Like you said, there's a struggle up there, but not just that. Once she's up there, I think Michael could have better posture. I think sometimes the stroking that he does, he doesn't exude total confidence during some of the lifts that make me worry. But you look at
Agreed.
Kirsten up there, and she looks like she doesn't have a doubt in her mind at all, which is great
Agreed.
to
I think
see.
she believes in him fully as her partner. I think sometimes he might have a little bit of self doubt, but I think that because she is such a strong girl, when she gets up there or when she gets into any of these positions, she can get herself out of trouble.
That's
There's
right.
been quite a few times where I think there's been some scary lifts and there's been some scary moments, and I can't remember which event it was. I think it was last season at a senior B. But when they're going up for one of their lasso lifts, she was almost shaking, and you could see her
Oh, four
face from it. She
continents, I
kept,
believe.
oh, that was 4 continents. Okay, I remember that was a really scary lift at one point in time.
They were supposed to beat Sui and Han in that
They
competition.
almost did. They almost did. So they are so talented. And with Megan and Bruno, no, not sorry, I get confused with this name. With Megan and Eric. That was so embarrassing. With Megan and Eric now having been retired, they really are like the Canadian pair team, and I think they do have a good shot of making a run at it for the world's podium. Today, the free skate shows that they can deliver pretty much a clean free skate, and they did it before at HK. So
Yeah, I can't remember where, but I read an interview where Kirsten was saying that in the past, she and Michael put pressure on themselves to be the number one Canadian pair. And they were a little down on themselves for not living up to that. But this season, they have a new mindset, which is let's just skate the best we can at each competition. And I think that seems to be working in the grand scheme of things so far this season.
I agree. I mean, they did qualify to go here, and they did have a great comeback in the free skate. And I think were they third overall in the free? I think they were third in the free skate, and then they ended up being fifth overall, if I'm
Fourth
remembering.
in the free skate.
Okay, fourth in the free skate, but then they were fifth. Were they fifth overall?
Yes.
Yeah, below Boikova and Kozlovskii. So I honestly think that even though this might not have been the results that they wanted, they showed a lot of promise here, and they showed a lot of fight, and that means a lot in the world of skating. Ice is slippery, and anything can happen.
That's right. The last pair team we'll discuss, I think, also shows a lot of promise. I think a lot of people were surprised that Daria and Denis from Russia qualified for the final. I think it's great. Again, I consider them to be a hot and cold team just because they either have many technical errors, but when they're spot on, like how they were in that short program, I think they might be one of my favorite Russian pairs just because they're so young, exuberant, and dynamic. Yes, they could use a little bit more polishing and controlling their energy, but when they're clean like they were in the short program, they were third after the short. It just looks stellar. That free skate, if anyone saw the viral video going around Twitter, she did fall on an outside edge.
Yeah, she's doing a bracket.
Jump.
She was
Yeah.
attempting. So here's actually, it's kind of funny because this kind of, I guess, big compliment to their skills. They have really good skating skills. I think they have really impressive skating skills. And in some of their, especially with their footwork, you'll see when they go in for those different difficult steps and turns, they get deep. So you can make sure that you, as a technical caller, will give them that level 4. Okay, you're going to see that counter and you are not going to doubt anything. Now, when she went in to do her bracket, she went too deep into the outside edge. She put a little bit of her weight, I think, in the front end of her blade. She hit the toe pick, and she more or less kind of did like a Lutz entry into a backflip. And this hadn't even been on any element. So it was really surprising for me. I don't even think, I was watching the ISU stream, I don't even think the commentator caught it immediately. Because It was just so, he didn't even comment on it. Because they went into, I think it was their side-by-side, the first side-by-side shot, the triple flips. Mm-hmm. And he was just like, oh, amazing, great start, perfect. And I was like...
Yeah, not a perfect start.
Yes, it was a little a little worrisome. They did come back from it really quickly, though, and went to the side-by-sides. They hit their both their single side-by-side triple flips and then their triple toe, double toe combos. The triple twist was a little wonky for them, but they still got it. They still got a level 3. They got a little bit of negative GOE on it. But then she fell on the throw triple flip, and after that, it kind of seemed like they got a little rattled.
And you know what I like about this pair is that they have very difficult and intricate entries and exits from all of their elements. Sometimes it looks scary though, especially when like they're not totally sure of themselves. It's like, did you catch her? Is she gonna land? But that's difficult and impressive.
Yes, no, you definitely can see that what I will say about this team, they try to make the technical controller's job as easy as possible and make sure that everything you need to check off in the level features is seen. When it comes to difficult exits and entries, when it comes to like specific different positions that she needs to hit in the lifts to get it. When it comes to the death spirals, like they try their best to make it as clear as possible, so you can't second guess giving them that level 4. But sometimes those are difficult for a reason. Those are clear for a reason, and it can look a little scary.
And it could take time to finesse them.
Yes, so I think they do need to polish up their elements, even though they were getting level 4s on all their lifts, for example. I don't think they got anything over +2, and that was pretty rare. It was mostly +1s and 0s for them. So I think that their biggest goal right now is you have the elements, you can do them, polish them up. Like, you need to get that GOE score up so you can get that technical score up. This team has a lot of potential, and they could really rise in the ranks, but they just need to start focusing on polishing up the elements and being a little bit more consistent overall between competitions.
Yeah, I agree. So are you ready to move on to the next discipline?
Yes, I am.
Sweet.
I am very excited.
Ooh, we talked about pairs for 30 minutes. So if you're watching this and you have 2 hours to spare, keep paying attention.